Recording. What's up, everybody? Mohan13 here. You already see the title of the video. This is part 2 of What If Yuji Itadori Was a Saiyan. Let's get it off. So we left off with Yuji being told by Gojo of what he has to train. Now then, since Yuji can pretty much control cursed energy almost as well as he does ki in this timeline, there's really no need for the doll, meaning that for this few months, for the few weeks, I can't remember if it was a month or a few weeks that Yuji was supposed dead. Fuck it. Look, in those few months / weeks, oh, Lord. Yuji instead spends that time training with Gojo, and thus growing his power exponentially, along with Gojo eventually taking Yuji. Since, he definitely know by now, which he takes Yuji to Korin's tower, telling him to climb it instead of fly, and thus Yuji does, which Yuji eventually meeting Korin Sensei, and eventually goes through the same tribulations, along with Korin dropping the ball that he knew Yuji's father and what his grandfather was like, and Yuji being basically more on told of how his father was as a kid compared to him, which he's happy to hear this, knowing that his dad was mostly like him, just a little more ruthless and cold-blooded, which, to be fair, he did mellow out a lot during his lifetime of here on Earth. And so yes, Yuji does eventually drink the ultra-divine water, along with he gets given something that even Yuji's father couldn't get at his age, since he knew he wasn't pure of heart, and as he caused a giant Nimbus cloud to come, and thus Yuji picks him out one. So, boom, Yuji has a Nimbus now. Although he can't really fly up that much, so the Nimbus just stays here, along with Korin giving Yuji a bag of senzu beans. And telling him that these will come in later, that these will definitely come in handy, if you ever need them. And thus begins to fly up to Kami's lookout, which Yuji trained with him, along with the fact that Kami knows some techniques in this timeline, i.e. Kaioken, and stuff like that. But see, this is when Gojo introduces Yuji to the time chamber, hyperbolic time chamber, room of spirit and time, whatever the hell you want to call it. So yes, this leads to the two going in. Now then, and you know what? I don't know if I should. You know what? I'm gonna be nice and say that, since I definitely believe he should handle a full year in the time chamber at this point, I'm gonna say that he can really only handle Gojo thinks they really only need about 6 months of training instead of the full year, since Gojo's already been in here for a full year himself. Back after the whole Star Plaza vessel incident, Gojo spent the year in the time chamber he found Korin's town. He also will explain this to Yuji, during one of their months in the time chamber, that he found Korin and told him of a great warrior, and thus he spent an entire year in the time chamber just, thinking about what happened between him and Geto, which, you know what, I'm gonna say that this happens after Geto kills that village of people, including his parents. So after that, basically Gojo needed to kind of figure himself out after having basically his one best friend in the world, and in Gojo's eyes, one of his only friends, basically walk off like nothing to pursue a plan that was relatively the wrong one, possibly wouldn't even work. And so Gojo just needed a whole year by himself to get things situated, which is what made it easier for him when he had to kill Geto here. That year, along with all the multiple following years, basically gave him the confidence and courage needed to move on from the situation, to get better from it, just a hill. So yes, which we see during these 6 months, along with Yuji practicing a new technique that Kami taught him, i.e. the Kaioken. Well, I mean, if you've seen part 1, you know that the Dragon Balls can't bring anyone back to life in this timeline because of how weak the Guardian is here. Which isn't weak from just him being weak. He's old as shit. Like, I'm gonna say he's older than Kami. Like, a decent 100 years older than how Kami was than the original timeline. I'm talking about, like, Kami, he's older than Kami when he feuds back in within Piccolo. So, he's old as shit. And i.e., his power has diminished greatly over that time to the point where the Dragon Balls can't even bring people back from the dead anymore. As it would he just can't physically muster it anymore. So because of this, while he felt his age getting near, thanks to meeting with a great god named King Kai, he taught him these things. And thus Yuji is learning the Kaioken, as we see somewhere in the white void as a red blur basically zooms through the area, with Yuji punching at Gojo only for it to be blocked by his infinity. Which this is also giving Yuji a good enough time to get used to Gojo's infinity, as he backs off and comes around again around Gojo, delivering a roundhouse kick. Which eventually, before he's able to even try and get close, his body finally gives out, as he falls to the ground, near unconscious, since he's in his Inkari form while doing this, meaning that his body is basically flatlined on him, from too much stress, too much pressure, all of that. So he's pretty weak right now. And thus Gojo pops him a senzu bean, letting the boy get stronger. So yeah, this training is actually benefiting both of them, as Gojo only turns on infinity when he really wants to test Yuji. Actually, no, opposite. He only turns it off when he really wants to test Yuji and give him a full hand-to-hand fight. No infinity, just... So yeah, he turns infinity off when he really wants to throw it out. But since he knew Yuji was already basically on his falling point, since he could tell with the 6 eyes, he didn't. And so after Yuji's given a senzu bean and gets a nice Zenkai from it, him and Gojo just start talking. At this point, I say it's been like 5 months, which in terms of power level for the two of them, Yuji's jumped for 400 and god damn it, I can't remember. Look, Yuji's basically jumped to around 600. Yeah, I want to say 600. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. At this point in time, Yuji's jumped to 600 from training with the strongest in the world. So that, while Gojo, it was seeing small increases in strength. Well, not even that. Well, he's three screeches in strength, but he's just not suppressing himself as much anymore. Which his true power level is somewhere around what? I can't. Basically, his true power level will get revealed around the fight with Sukuna. Or, maybe before that. But basically, he stopped holding back, and now he's letting his power comfortably sit at 2,000. Which he... Okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to have it, so it's... He's at 2,000 right now, suppressed, and he doesn't have that far to go before he actually reaches full strength, but with the training with Yuji for the 5 months, 3 at this point, he has received about a good 100% boost. 100 power level up boost, so, just add a nice 100 on his actual power level. So, yeah. Which, you know what? Fuck it, Actually, no, never mind. Just know that his power level, that Gojo's true power level is somewhere around the Saiyan Saga in terms of power level. I'm talking about Kaioken Goku through... Like, Goku in any Kaioken form to where Vegeta was before his blast at the guy with the Gallic Gun at Goku. Go ahead and guess, and if you get it right, I'll pin it. If not, I'll just tell you in the next video. But yeah, besides that, we we see that another couple of months pass with Yuji gaining more of an increase, sitting comfortably at 1,000 for his power level. Well, by the 7 months when they walk out, when they first come out, Yuji's sitting at 1,000. Wow. Ooh, heartburn. Sorry about that. I did just eat before I got onto recording, so that might be a little bit why. But, yeah. While Gojo is suppressing himself again, and is now just letting his power level still sit at around 3,000 now. So he's letting it... So, yeah. That much. Now then, this later... Oh yeah, I hope you know that Gojo took Yuji here quite literally a day after he woke up, so... This is when he sensed the two curses, i.e. since it's barely been half a day. So at night, this is when it's against with Jogo and Hanami happen, which... Jogo gets folded here. But Yuji can still feel his power level. He can still sense it. It's way higher than his right now. Probably around 7,000, somewhere around there. He can feel it. But thus, Jogo gets clowned on by Gojo. Gojo. I'm calling him Volcano Man. Volcano Man gets his shit kicked in, and Hanami has to come and save him. So yeah, now then, and the other few weeks go by, and along with this is when Yuji eventually meets Nanami. And things go off with canon with, Actually, you know what, no. We switch over to Jujutsu High for just a bit. Now then, they still have their pretty much same reactions as in canon. Nobara's just a bit sadder here in this timeline. That's because of how close she and Yuji was already. And realistically, that's only about a bit. So yeah. But she doesn't really like Maki talking shit. Which one? I can't believe I said Maki, damn. Which Maki can still... Yeah. I'm not gonna fuck Maki over that bad, actually. Since Ki is still, everything on the planet still has Ki, so... People like Maki and Toji can still have Ki, it's just that they can't do that much with it. In a sense that it still only provides a physical buff with the extra ability of just shooting Ki blast and flying, but they can't do that big flashy moves with it. So, no beam struggles for them. Well, I mean, technically they could, but it'd be like just a normal long blast of energy and anything else, but I'm getting off track. But yeah, eventually, after some talking with Gojo, he asks Nobara to come meet him, which she is somewhat shocked to see Yuji still alive, which results in him getting smacked upside the head, and her screaming at him for making her worry about him. Which after the explanation about the binding vow he made with Sukuna, so yeah. This leads to Nobara and Yuji both getting sent off to meet up with Nanami. And just... So yeah, Nobara's here in this timeline, and yay! But yeah, this also gives her and Yuji a chance to just get closer with each other. So that, along with the fact that eventually they do meet up with Junpei. And... if you're wondering around when Kenjaku starts spying on them, he does, but he's basically he's been doing this shit for 1,000 years. He can hide it. He can hide his Ki and curse energy. So, Yuji doesn't know his dear old mother standing up there. Neither does, anyone, actually. Junpei still kills double. I can't remember what he did. Jesus, it's been a while since I watched the early arcs of JJK. Fuck. Kills the bullies. And yeah, eventually Mahito and Nanami still have their same little fight on. So yeah. Now then, we get to the situation of Yuji, Nobara, and Yuji and Nobara spending the night at Junpei's house. Since, well, Yuji doesn't think anything that wrong with it, with Nobara telling him it wouldn't hurt that bad to just stay one night, and thus the two do. Luckily, this is when some curses arrive, which the two Jujutsu sorcerers handle it pretty easily, way easily. Since Nobara has been training with Yuji too, so she gets a nice little bump in power as well. So yeah, along with the fact that this is when they find the fourth finger and Yuji chomps it down. So yeah, with Sukuna more like Yuji grabs it and Sukuna just opens one of his hand mouths on Yuji's body and snags it. So there. So yeah, Junpei doesn't go nearly as off the deep end as he does in the main timeline. But yeah. But now we get to the fight of Mahito and Yuji and Nobara in this time. Here. Where Nobara is able to get, after getting Junpei to calm down, Nobara is able to get him out of there, but not before Mahito said something that really set Yuji off. As he remembers something that Gojo said to him. That it seems like anger is the key to his power. Since that's what that whole Akari form, they've dubbed it that since, well, it's rage in Japanese. Art wrathful. So yeah, that's what that whole form seems about. So use your anger. Get mad when you're fighting a curse. Who knows how far it could take you. It doesn't help with Junpei and Sukuna basically laughing their goddamn asses off at Yuji for thinking that, basically laughing at him and telling him that if it wasn't for the girl there, that Junpei probably would have died. And this sets Yuji off. Just like his Raging Cannon, but this time it sets him off way more. As everyone can feel it, even Gojo somewhere far off. And hell, everyone, even though it's a brief second, as Yuji screams out in rage, lightning bursting down from the scenes as his hair basically flashes up golden, along with his tail turning a similar gold color too. Which, on that note, it's really fucking stupid that Saiyan's tails don't turn gold too. I mean, like, alright, the top hair of the tail grows. Shouldn't the tail turn gold too? I mean, which, like, this really the fuck out of me in GT, like, watching it after Goku got his tail, like, why isn't it gold? Like, wouldn't that also turn gold, like, Super Saiyan? You know, like, it just kind of makes more biological sense for a Saiyan. If they turn gold, if they turn Super Saiyan and every hair on them turns gold, then wouldn't the tail too? Since, along with the fact that we see Super Great Ape, a Super Saiyan Great Ape, it's gold completely, including the tail. So, explain to not, like, shit, like Fundamation, Tanami, explain. So yeah, if you see any Saiyan in my What If that has a tail, that tail's going gold. Like, damn, like, it makes sense, right? Like, I'm not, like, tell me if I'm tweaking out in the comments, but, like, it makes sense, right? For the tail to turn gold when the Saiyan turns super, right? Like, this isn't just me that thinks that. And please go ahead, if y'all don't think it, tell me in the comments. I'd actually love to discuss about it with you. But, shit, I'm getting off track. So, yes, Yuji flourished to life in a golden aura, basically shattering the entire building there and bringing it down lopsided, with Mahito proceeds to get fucking obliterated by well, not obliterated, he gets his shit caved in, i.e. a hole through his stomach, since Yuji rushes forward and basically rips through him. Which, everyone is shocked by this power, even Sukuna, as he can't help but think that, since he's already came into his plan of making Megami his new vessel, he's already thought about that. And so now he's just waiting to see what this golden form can do of the brat. Which Yuji amply beats the shit out of Mahito. After running a hand through him, he rips it out before teleporting atop Mahito and spiking him to the ground. Now then, this ass beating is really more one-sided in this fight. It's not even a real jumping at this point, since Nami and Nobara are both way too slow to keep up with Yuji. But basically, after Yuji's done bouncing Mahito in the air like a paddle ball, he proceeds to kick him to the ground, where Nami proceeds to teleport behind him, smacking with his curse tool, which, again, with Nobara here, she proceeds to resonate his ass, as spikes basically appear throughout his body, as Naito is fearing for his life in this situation, and thus unlocks his domain expansion, trapping Nobara and Nami in it. But Golden Yuji over here shatters through it immediately, along with Sukuna being pissed. He breaks it, which leads to Yuji firing a blast at Mahito, which it doesn't disintegrate the curse, unfortunately, in this timeline, which leads to the curse being able to run for its life, fearing the golden aura of Yuji. Although, unfortunately for everyone else, before Yuji can give chase, his body can't take it anymore, and he just goes down. So, yeah, Yuji is out with... Nami does tell Nobara what that bag is on the side of Yuji is senzu beans, so she feeds him one. And after that, they take Junpei, and Nami talks to his mother about the fact that could be a Jujutsu sorcerer. And thus, boom, that conversation happened, and she agrees to it, which leads to Nobara eventually going back to Jujutsu High. They keep training with Megami since they want to surprise Megami, while this leads to Junpei and Yuji training with Gojo even more. Which Yuji does try to activate his golden form, which is since along with after using his father's scouter, which he does still have the pod and his father's scouter, it's still there. He finds out about the myth of the Super Saiyan and realizes that's what he's become. Although Yuji can't really maintain Super Saiyan for that long, since at this point he trains enough to where he can activate it at will, but he doesn't have full-on control of it, while compared to Kaioken, that he spent months in. And since he really doesn't want to go back into the time chamber unless it's like a dire situation, so at this point he has more control over Kaioken, which makes him realize that Super Saiyan should be a last resort, something that he really should do. Oh, also, since Yuji had like a couple more months to talk with Gojo, he does know about Yuta and him. And Yuji actively wants to fight Yuta. And who knows, maybe he can find him in the next World Martial Arts Tournament. Maybe. Like, that's what Yuji wants. Since, in fact, what Yuji wants right now is that after all of this, since Yuji does kind of want to live until the next martial arts tournament, the World's Martial Arts Tournament, along with the fact that he does still want to get revenge for the Saiyans like his father did before him. As they do have some scientists on the lowdown basically working on the spaceship to make it a bigger one. Well, Yuji's father's spaceship, which has been taking years, yes, and should still take a couple of years to get done. But after that, Yuji is planning to hop off to space and hopefully find, well, whoever. Since that's kind of his plan right now. So, after that, we see Yuji. So yeah, after that, we see, Gojo coming in with a box with a couple of seal tags on it, along with Junpei walking beside them, with him telling them that this is a new student. And people can feel the key and curse energy just radiating out the box, which after Gojo breaks it open, Yuji does a little opie thing, which gets Megami slightly confused. He's even more confused when he realizes that Nobara knew, and slightly miffed about not being informed about one of his friends' situation. He's more angry at Gojo. So, yeah. Now then, the old man is still angry, but Yuji actually threatens the old bastard here. As Yuji know he can't really do anything for him, so in a quick burst of speed and power, Yuji appears in front of him with Kaioken, telling the old man to try it again. He dares him. Along with Yuji just straight up telling him over the fact that if he does, he'll be the one to kill him. And with that, Yuji is back in front of everyone. As only really one person could keep up with Yuji at this point. It was Gojo to see where he is. So, yeah. Now we get into the lovely Kyoto event. It goes mostly similar to canon. Everyone here just has a bigger power here. I.e. the power to level cities or a planet. But they still are around the same territory. God, I can't remember Sword Girl's name. She's so irrelevant, I can't even remember her damn name. Blue-haired girl with the sword. Bro, so irrelevant, I can't even remember her damn name. No. She gets done in by Junpei with the poison, which she does have an antidote for, along with just a good, clean chop at her neck. Since Junpei, again, has been training with two of the strongest people for like a couple of months. So yeah, quick chop to her neck knocks her out. And he drops her to the floor before flying off to come help the others, which an explosion happens in a distance as we see Megami damn it, Noshitori. Never hate it when you can't remember someone's name because they didn't pop up that much in the manga or anime, or like disappeared halfway through and just now you can't remember them. What was our Noshitori buddy name? Megami's fighting him, which, along with him having to use a curve serving as a blood manipulation, Megami drops kick the shit out of him. Since Megami's been putting in extra hard training here. Since he realized that with androids out there that could siphon off energy and ki and cursed energy, along with the fact that Yuji said that there could have been, since one thing that Yuji's talked about with him, that there could be more survivors of planet Earth. Planet Vegeta. Shit. I still haven't come up with a new name for Vegeta in this timeline. Planet Sadala, there we go. It could be like they kept the name like the Universe 6 Saiyans. So yeah. So anyone from Planet Sadala could still be well alive and kicking, and what happens one day if they come down to Earth. And thus Megami has been putting in overtime in his training, even after getting his ass kicked by Todo. Which, now we get to Yuji and Todo. The fight starts off with him asking Yuji about his type, which Yuji gives the same answer, and, things go similar to Kenny here. This is when the fight breaks out, with Yuji bleeding in front of Todo, trying to punch him, only for Todo to teleport behind, use his curse technique, and make Yuji teleport behind Todo before getting kicked in the back. Which Yuji quickly recovers for this, shooting out 2 ki blasts to set off a distraction, which Todo dodges, but as dodging, Yuji comes back with Kaio in his Ray Kaioken, or kicking Todo in the face, sending him back through a couple of trees. Now then, we get to things in canon. They still kind of get their asses kicked by Hanami, which this is when Yuji and Todo show up. Now then, this is when an ass whooping commences, as Todo teaches Yuji how to use Black Flash here, which, as Yuji decides to start doing this, as he boosts up the Kaioken times 4. And with this, he completely outspeeds and outbreaks the shit out of Hanami, as he teleports in front of Hanami. Black Flash teleports behind, Black Flash. Yuji actually hits more Black Flashes in this timeline, since he's just so unbelievably faster in time than Hanami right now. He's able to hit consecutive Black Flashes, which I say he hits about 6 here? Yeah. 6 Black Flashes here seems like a good choice. Along with the fact that, come on, man, Yuji's been said to be the man chosen by the sparks of black. If that doesn't mean he can't use them at will, then shit, who knows? So after these good 5 consecutive hits, which make Yuji stronger as a process, he boosts Kaioken with his Ikari form before blasting Hanami basically away, dragging him. With Todo Toto flying behind. And this leads to a devious ass combo move. With Toto usually just kind of kicking Hanami around. With Toto having to use Boogie Woogie to actually keep up here, but still. Basically, Hanami's getting beat, well, the stuffing kicked out of him. Which at this point, Gojo's getting ready to use Hollow Purple, and Yuji can feel it, so he decides to end this quickly. As Yuji turns off Hikari and, well, Kaioken, which makes Toto wondering what he's doing. Before Yuji lets out a scream, bursting into a golden aura, shaking the entire, hell, even shaking the veil. As Yuji almost immediately basically teleports behind Hanami, and absolutely beats the brakes off him. Which, this concludes with Yuji ripping out one of Hanami's tree eyes. And by ripping it out, I mean flipping Hanami and throwing him while ripping it out. Which he almost immediately teleports away as Yuji had thrown Hanami into the oncoming Hollow Purple Gojo fired. Teleporting near Toto before dropping out of Super Saiyan entirely. Which in turn smacks Hanami, and well, that goes how it does in canon. Now then. Shit, I can't remember. If the Mecha... Well, after this, they have their whole baseball event along with Mechamaru. Which, again, with Super Saiyan Yuji here, that's kind of avoided, so Mechamaru is still alive and kicking. Miwa, that was her name. Junpei kicked the shit out of Miwa. But yeah, with Mechamaru still alive and kicking in this timeline, with Kenjaku and Mayuto pissing off, we get to where, right before Shibuya event, with, damn. Heartburn sucks. But, yeah. Now, we get to about the fact that the trio are informed of the cursed spirit things, you know, how things happens at the bridge. Yes, well, to be completely honest, this is still a certified ass whooping that, again, at this point, Yuji is starting to get more used to Super Saiyan running through his body. And so, he kills them. He kills them relatively easily. Before they're able to get their curse off technique, but still, you know what? This ends with a double Kamehameha from Megami still ends up using his domain, Chimera Shadowguard, while for the two Yuji's unsupposed brothers, they get a double Kamehameha. Which, yes, during their time, Yuji taught Nobara how to use it. Which, basically, after Megami's done dealing with the Finger Bearer, he sees a bright blue gleam just shoot off into the sky. And when he gets there, he sees Yuji and Nobara just, holding the Kamehameha pose before, with Yuji charged up and Nobara and a red key. Yes, Yuji taught her Kaioken. Yes, this will be important. Mostly. Since, things still might go the same at Shibuya, I'm not gonna lie. But, yeah. So, after that, with that, Mario 13. Yeah, I'm not gonna go over power levels in this one. Yeah, so, with that...